Hey, this is Jess. Welcome back to Elephant Dung. So I woke up this morning and saw a Facebook post that triggered this video, and I want to talk about what a spiritual awakening isn't. And I do not understand why no one is talking about this. So first of all, here's the Facebook post I saw. So this is how American culture and things like Facebook are promoting what a spiritual awakening looks like. And at least in my experience, that is not it. So I don't know why there isn't more conversation and information out there about the reality of a spiritual awakening and the reality of life on the other side. Maybe I'm not there yet, but I have spent my entire life in pursuit of the spiritual questions. I think I was like 12 when I first started to try to figure out what the nature of God was. And I've meditated in all different realms. I've meditated all of my life. I've followed teachers and, the whole 9 yards. And I've had some incredible experiences and, those moments of just mind-blowing energy, the Kundalini experience, all of it. And I'm still here, and I'm still Jess. And it doesn't magically go away. And I just don't understand why no one is talking about this. I feel like I 100% understand the nature of the universe and God. I know who I am. I know that I am awareness. You have that experience of here's ego and here's awareness, and they come together and they flip. So you know that you're awareness, but your ego is still back here and it is still in the game. And I just don't understand why no one admits that or talks about that. You look at Christ and he still got angry. We're not going to just become these glowing humans that walk around. Maybe we walk on water. I don't know. There's such a misconception that you're going to become a spiritually awakened being and suddenly all of your problems are going to go away, or all of your ego is just going to dissolve in a poof. And you're going to walk around and be at the grocery store, or this image, be on a subway, and you're just going to glow. And I don't know. I don't think I'm glowing. I took my dog to the park yesterday. We're out in the woods. I was 100% in my non-dual nature. I was awareness. I was one with the trees. I was floating. And the dog ran into a giant mud puddle. He dragged me into a mud puddle. I fell. We're dripping in mud. The dog is filthy. I have to put him back in my car. And I can tell you that fast, I was 100% ego again. I was irritated and annoyed. And all of the beautiful awareness I was walking in just vanished. And this is the reality of life after a spiritual awakening. It's not a once and done. It's not like you have this giant meditation, mind-blowing Kundalini, whatever experience, and suddenly, all of the rest of it just goes away. People associate awakening or enlightenment with happiness, with no suffering, with no ego, with people flocking behind you as if you're walking, like Christ with all of the disciples. And it just doesn't work that way. As long as you are in form, you are bound to a karmic knot. You are bound to your body and personality. And until that stops, you are going to keep working. You are going to keep struggling, even holding on to the awareness of who you are, even knowing that. The rest of it just doesn't go away. And I think we're, looking at the emperor with no clothes, and none of the teachers want to admit it, and none of the enlightened beings, want to tell you that they're struggling, because if they tell you that, they feel like, oh, I must not be awake. Well, I think I'm awake. I think I get it. I 100% can meditate into those spaces of a complete non-dual peace. But if I'm not sitting in that, it goes goes away and you are back in form and you are struggling, whether you know your awareness and ego's behind it, as long as ego's in the game, it doesn't just once and done end. And I so think we need support in this state. I so think that teachers and awakened people need to be honest about it. The struggle doesn't end. You might have a better perspective and you might be able to come out of it a little bit faster, and you might understand or laugh at yourself for the struggle. Like, I totally know sitting in mud yesterday was hysterical, but when I was sitting in the mud, it wasn't so funny. It takes a minute to come back to awareness being in front and to laugh at the human experience. But that doesn't mean you're not going to have it, and that doesn't mean you're not going to feel it. Part of the whole beauty of it is the fact that we do feel it, that ego does this dance. Like, that's the human experience, and that is not going to go away, no matter how, enlightened you feel in your moments on the meditation mat. But anyway, I think people will probably disagree with this. I think a lot of people who feel awakened and magical, like the glowing on the bus, don't want to hear this. But for those of you who are struggling and just don't want to admit it, I think it's real. I think awakening is not a once and done. At least in my experience, I have spent 60 years, struggling to get here. I think I'm here, and the struggle doesn't end. But anyway, I'm just throwing it out there. Until next time, keep rolling.